Hello, everybody. If anybody is there, I don't even know yet. So, we're going to get started in just a few minutes. Hello, everybody. My name is Dulcie Monell. I am the Troop Support Specialist for the West. Today, we are going to talk about um, did you know you can be a troop volunteer? So, even if you don't have a daughter in Girl Scouts or in a Girl Scout troop, you can volunteer to be a helper for somebody's troop. So if you have a friend who's running a Girl Scout troop and you want to help her out, that would be amazing. And I'm also going to give some tips to current leaders on how to try to work on getting volunteers for your troop because I know all of us struggle with that. And the more help we can get, the better our troop is going to run. So, again, today is you too can be a troop volunteer. Okay, so a couple tips for current leaders is there are all kinds of positions in troops that we would like to fill with parent helpers, with maybe somebody you know outside of Girl Scouts that would be able to help you or is looking for a volunteer opportunity. And what better opportunity or place to volunteer than Girl Scouts? I have been a volunteer for 21 years. I've led a troop for 21 years and I love it. I obviously also work for Girl Scouts. So, yes, I love helping out other troops. So, that's an option. Like if you're a leader of one troop and you need somebody to help you with your troop and you know another leader is having an issue getting volunteers, maybe the two of you can help each other's troops out. That does obviously double your workload. So that's not the ideal situation. But I'm going to go over some of the positions that we like to have additional volunteers for. A lot of troops, the troop leader does all of it. And that puts a lot on one person. And that's when troop leaders get burned out and troops dissolve. And we want to avoid that. So the more parents we can get involved or outside volunteers, the better. So some of the positions is finding a troop treasurer, somebody to be the cookie parent, and it doesn't have to be a mom. It can be dads are great cookie dads. The heavy lifting of cookies is much easier sometimes for them than it is for the moms. How about somebody to plan the snacks for each meeting? Drivers for field trips. A camping lead, that does not need to be the leader. The leader does not need to take that camp training. You can get, maybe there's a family in your troop who loves to go camping. And so get that dad or that mom to take the camp training so that they're the camp certified person and in charge when you're going camping. That takes a huge load off. Event planners, so somebody who's going to plan something for your troop to do outside of a troop meeting. Okay, so there are all kinds of positions to fill, and any help that you can get from the outside is greatly appreciated at every step. Okay, so one of the things is to help with this is when you have your very first parent meeting, put out there that this is not something that I'm going to be able to do by myself. I definitely need all parent participation. And so if you start out with a daisy troop and you start that expectation right in the beginning, hey, everybody needs to help. This is a co-thing. We're all doing it together. You're going to get way more help than if you just ask for specific. So definitely the more you ask, the more help you're going to get. Okay, so just put it out there that, hey, we need help for this troop. So there is a parent involvement form that Spirit of Nebraska has. That is a great thing to have, tool to utilize at your first meeting, even if halfway through the year or it's your second year and you haven't done that. Send that home with the girls so the parents can fill it out and send it back. And it asks for their interests and those kind of things so that you can get to know that family a little bit better. Another great idea is to have a family event. maybe just a barbecue where your whole troop gets together before you really kick off the year. Um, and you get to like have a personal conversation with those families and parents to figure out maybe what they do or what their interests are. And then when it comes down to, hey, I need help, I need a treasurer for my troop, or I need that cookie mom. And you've talked to somebody and they're super organized, and so you know a couple of their strong suits. So you can go in and be like, hey, I noticed that you're really an organized person. I think you would be great at the cookie mom. Would you be interested in being my cookie mom? So a personal ask is huge. I know if somebody personally comes up and asks me first to do a specific job, I'm probably more likely to say yes than if they just say, hey, I need help. So be specific when you're asking for help from parents, to what you need, and follow their leads and their strong suits. Okay. So that form is going to be extremely helpful to you. The other thing is when you're doing that personal ask, make sure you're following up. If they say yes right away, definitely say, oh, thank you so much. You are going to help so much. And then in the next couple days, make sure you're following up and giving them a little bit of direction, because you have taken, as the co-leader, the trainings that we have requested. But those people, helpful parents, have not. And if they're interested in being a co-leader or going to be a super helpful parent, it would be a good idea for them to watch those trainings, just to give them a little bit more idea of how Girl Scouts works and expectations and all those kind of things. But if they're not willing to take a training, some people think it's too much to have to sit down and do another added thing, then you're going to coach them. So make sure that you're following up with them and giving them direction and what you need from them, so they know what is expected of them. Okay. So like the cookie mom, you might go to the cookie training with her, just so that if you have questions and she has questions while you're going through the cookie training, it's super helpful to have that extra ear listening to that training to be able to say, oh my gosh, we forgot about that, or we hadn't even thought about that. And she might ask a question that the leader might ask a question that the cookie mom's not even thinking about, or have two parents do the cookies. Definitely have one designated for the paperwork side of it, because that person is responsible for the signing. But there is nothing saying you can't have two people, and one person is the sorter and the counter, and the other person is the one verifying money. Just the more volunteers you can get, the better. And it's better for the girls. So in my experience, and like I said, I've been a leader for 21 years. In my experience, my girls had a lot more fun in the events that we were doing, the things that we were participating in, if I was a part of it. And I had more fun. Like the memories that we have made, and I hope someday to make with a granddaughter, those are lifelong, and awesome memories to be able to sit down and talk about. So definitely encourage parents that, this is something that your daughter's wanting to do and she wants you to be a part of it. So you volunteering to do a certain piece of our troop will help her be more involved as well. Okay. Let's see. So like the camping lead, you will know the ones that want to go camping, because those are the girls that are going to be like at the first meeting, when do we get to go camping? When do we get to go camping? Even as a daisy, they're going to be asking that. So that's the family that maybe you're going to be like, let's see how much they go camping, and maybe dad would be willing to do. Or maybe you personally know somebody outside of your troop that loves camping, one of your friends, or a brother or sister. Ask them, hey, would you mind being the camp person for our troop? So the only time they would have to be there is when you're prepping to go camping, to meet with the girls, to go over things that they're going to need to take camping, and then to be there for the camp out. Those people obviously are going to need to be registered Girl Scouts, because they will be spending time with the girls. And when you're a registered Girl Scout volunteer, you do the background check. So we definitely want to make sure that they've gone through that process. But then that takes that load off of the leader of trying to figure out, okay, so we did this badge, and now the girls want to go camping, and how am I going to fit that into the schedule? And I don't have time to plan that. So it does really take a load off of the co-leader's shoulders. All of the positions that we have, they can be people outside of Girl Scouts. So if you have a strong suit in banking and you want to be a volunteer in some organization, you could volunteer to be a treasurer for a Girl Scout troop. And then be active in, obviously you're going to be active in the cookie sales, because that's when our money is coming in, or fall product sales as well. So it's not a role that is exactly not ever with the girls, but it's one that's not as demanding. And then maybe you know somebody as a troop leader, maybe you have a friend who's a photographer, and the girls have an interest in earning a badge about photography. So reach out to that person. They can be a troop volunteer. They can come in and teach that badge, or go over things with the girls at a troop meeting. So there's no harm in asking people outside of Girl Scouts, outside of your troop, to come in and help. I've done it before where we've done the first aid badge, and I know people who are in the volunteer fire department, and I've taken over the badge work for them, the packet to them, and handed it to them, and they planned the meeting. And so all I had to do was take the girls to the fire department, and they covered everything else. So it's a matter of how comfortable are you asking for help, and we want you to go outside of your comfort zone so that you're not feeling stressed as a leader. And maybe you're a volunteer firefighter and you have an interest in helping out other organizations. Reach out to the Girl Scouts and just see, hey, I'd be willing to do a first aid badge. And once you have it planned out, like, you could do it for multiple troops. So it's just a matter of them scheduling a meeting with you and coming in and doing it. And we have badges, geez, for just about everything that the girls are interested in. So if you run a bakery and you would be interested in helping the girls learn some cooking skills or some baking skills, you could reach out to Girl Scouts and see, hey, do you have troops in the area that be interested in doing maybe a tour of my bakery and seeing how it works behind the scenes, those kind of things. And you can always reach out to Spirit of Nebraska, and they will connect you with the right people to get you into touch with leaders in the area, so that your business is helping Girl Scouts, and vice versa. If you have something that needs to be done, or you want some extra help with, let's say cleaning up city parks, reach out to the Girl Scouts. They are always looking for things to do to get service hours. And so they'd be more than willing to. Some troops don't know who to contact. Who do we contact for that? So if you're reaching out, then they're going to call you right back. So really what we're saying is, it's super easy to volunteer with Girl Scouts. So anybody out there can be a volunteer, and we will connect you with the right people and get you going with the right troops. And as far as troop leaders, when you're asking for help within your troop, it doesn't really work when you just say at a meeting, hey, I really need some help. Like, I'm struggling here, I really need some help. And they all say, and you know it, they all say, oh, I'm willing to help, I'm willing to help. But if you don't go to them with a specific, this is what I need help with, then they're telling you that they're willing to help, but they don't know what you need help with. So explain to them, hey, I need help. I'm going out of town and we have a meeting scheduled. Could anybody do this badge for us? This is what we had planned. And with a volunteer toolkit, it is super easy to get somebody to cover a meeting. Print off the activity activity plan and get it to them the week before the meeting. All they have to do is read through it. It's very, very easy to follow the activity plan. So any parent could run a meeting. Again, we want to make sure that we're following our safety guidelines. So you have to make sure that you have a registered volunteer there if they are not a registered parent. And my thing is, the more parents you can get registered, the easier it is to get them to help. And you're just like, hey, guess what? You're registered. Would you be willing to cover this troop meeting for me? And they're also, if they're registered, it's super easy to shoot them an email with the lesson plan or contact them and say, hey, something came up. I'm not going to be able to make it. Or I'm doing this tonight for the troop. Could you cover this part of it? And break up the meetings. So it's just that personal, specific ask that parents are looking for. And all troops have parents that are willing to volunteer. They just don't know what to do to help. And when all you're saying is, I need help, until you specifically say, this is what I need help with, they don't know what to do, okay? So make sure you're asking personal asks, making personal asks and saying, hey, we're doing the cooking badge tonight and we're gonna have 3 stations. So can I have one parent do this station and this is what it is? One parent do this station and this is what it is. So break it up, divide it out, let them pick what station they wanna do. Again, it's that personal ask and saying, hey, this is specifically what I'm looking for, okay? They don't like general, they like specific. And I'm the same way. If somebody's gonna ask me to do something, I wanna know what, what you want me to do before I'm gonna say yes. I'll tell you I'm gonna help, but unless you tell me what I'm gonna do, it makes it kind of difficult. So that's what they're looking for, is that personal, this is specifically what I want, and I think you would be great at it. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're asking parents for help. We do have on our Spirit of Nebraska website parent meeting guides that are amazing to follow with lots of suggestions. And again, we have that parent involvement form that just have them fill that out at the beginning of the meeting. The very first meeting, hand it back in with all of the other paperwork, gives you a week to go over it. The next time you guys get together, you're going to have parents that are going to stay at every meeting and request that. Just say, we need the extra adult help, especially when they're daisies and brownies, just because the activities require a lot of hands-on, and 1 leader or 2 leaders of 10 girls makes it super difficult for everybody to get the same experience. So just set it in the beginning that it's expected that parents are able to stay. And of course, you're going to have parents that I have another sick child and I need to go home, but it's not going to be every time. So it can rotate. You can have a sign-up paper for people to stay. And again, if you have friends, so maybe you're a leader of a daisy troop and your daughter's in it and none of the other parents want to volunteer to be a co-leader, okay? So your best friend maybe doesn't have any children or doesn't have a daughter that age, but maybe she'd be willing to help you do this daisy troop for your daughter. Just ask her, be like, hey, I can't find a leader. Would you be willing to help me do this? Or somebody else that you know is a Girl Scout leader. Hey, I just need some help to get started. And usually if parents can see how easy it is to help you get a meeting going, they'll volunteer to help you, especially if you've already asked and they're like, oh, I don't really know anything about Girl Scouts. Like, I don't really feel comfortable doing it. It's showing them that, hey, this is super easy to do. They have it all spelled out for you. Here are the guidelines. Like, I'll plan it out. I just need you to be there to help me at every meeting. So it's giving those specific, this is what I need to get them to help, okay? Does anybody have any questions? I'm not very good at these Facebook Lives because I'm not sure who's on and who's not. So if you do have questions for us while we're going through this, please put them in the comments off to the side. And I do have Pam Suckup from the other end of the state. She is also a troop support specialist, and she is monitoring the questions, and she will be answering them on there, okay? I just have a few more things to go over. I'm hoping that everybody that watches this video will share it on their personal Facebook page, not just a Girl Scout led or Girl Scout volunteer page, because we truly are looking for people outside of Girl Scouts to volunteer for, not just to be troop leaders, just to volunteer with Girl Scouts. And maybe it's they're going to volunteer to help with a program. Like, all they have to do is reach out to Spirit of Nebraska and say, hey, this is what I do, or this is my interests. I would love to teach girls how to do this. So if any of you are paying attention to the Girl Scout at Home activities right now, they are doing some amazing, fun things for the girls. So if you know somebody out there that would love to volunteer to teach something, get them in contact with us. Like, share this information and tell them we're looking for people to help with Girl Scouts. And if you're interested in volunteering, just let us know. Reach out to Spirit of Nebraska, and again, we'll get you in contact with the right people, and we would love to have you volunteer with Girl Scouts. Okay. Let me look at my notes here. Let's see. I think, because I'm a super fast talker, I have gone through everything that I wrote down to cover. I just, again, want to reiterate that it's super easy to volunteer with Girl Scouts. We are always looking for help in every aspect. If you're an organization that is looking for help in doing something to better your community, definitely Girl Scouts is an organization to reach out to. That's what our girls are looking for, our troops are looking for, who are working on their bronze, silver, and gold awards. They need projects that are going to better the community. And maybe you have something that they haven't thought of and they would love to help with. So if you reach out to just Spirit of Nebraska through Facebook, through a phone call, they will connect you to the right people in your area to get troops to volunteer for you. So yes, we're looking for volunteers too, but we're also looking, like, anybody that needs Girl Scouts to volunteer for them. We like to return the favor. So, and if you have a special skill and you would like to share it with Girl Scouts, whether it's knitting, sewing, making jelly, doing some sort of a specific craft, training a dog, anything. Girls are so interested in so many things. And yes, they love the outdoors, as well as they love the inside things too. So maybe you like to take hikes and you would be willing to do a hike with the troop. That's something that some leaders do not like to do. A lot of our leaders are moms who are busy and have multiple children and maybe multiple jobs. So if you would be willing to take their Girl Scout troop on a hike somewhere in the area, I'm pretty sure that they could find parent volunteers to go along with that and be able to let you do that for them. So we love people who would like to share their passions and their skills and their joys with us as Girl Scouts. So anybody can volunteer with Girl Scouts. And I know once college gets going that there are courses that require volunteer hours. So if you know somebody who's going to college and know that they're looking for volunteer hours, Girl Scouts would be an amazing place for them to volunteer. We have an outreach program in Omaha and Lincoln, as well as in the Grand Island area. We have a little bit of it in the Scottsbluff area and the North Platte area. So college students could volunteer to help with those outreach programs. And it literally is them going in and conducting something that has been pre-planned for a specific school or a specific day. So it's like an hour to an hour and a half of their time, maybe once a week. And it gets them joy. Girls look up to college students. They look up to the older Girl Scouts. So why not try to get those college students in to volunteer for us? So if you know of any college students, refer them to Girl Scouts. And keep in mind, anybody in your family. I'm sure my family is tired of hearing it, but I love Girl Scouts. So if they're doing something specific, I'm like, hey, you could teach that to my Girl Scout troop, and they've done it. So it's that personal ask that really does get them. When you're like, hey, I think you're really good at this. Would you be willing to teach this to my Girl Scout troop? Or would you be willing to come to this program and teach this to a whole group of Girl Scouts? Like, program is always looking for and new innovative ways to teach things to girls. So I think that's about all I have for everybody. Thank you for watching, and remember, please share this on your personal Facebook pages so that we can maybe reach out and get some people that don't usually volunteer for Girl Scouts to maybe be interested in volunteering for us. So again, if you had any questions, we will continue to monitor the post and answer the questions as they pop up. So don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your Sunday, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thank you.